This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock has tips to protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report phishing, and update the software on your devices. And for comprehensive identity protection, let LifeLock alert you to suspicious uses of your personal information. LifeLock also fixes identity theft, guaranteed or your money back. Stay smart, safe, and protected with a 30-day free trial at lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Welcome to People Tech, the podcast of the HCM Technology Report. I'm Mark Pfeffer. My guest today is Ian White, the founder and CEO of ChartHop. They have an open API that allows companies to build and connect apps to a number of integrations. We're going to talk about changes in work, building software, and how companies and employees connect, all on this edition of People Tech. Ian, welcome back. It's nice to talk with you again. Let me start by asking you about data. HR has been using data for a variety of purposes for a while now, and I'm wondering if COVID has changed the focus of that, and if so, how?
I think it definitely has. COVID radically just reshaped work in so many different ways. First, when you know that you need to be able to operate a remote or distributed team, whether you're hybrid, or partially hybrid, or partly returning to work, everybody had to adjust their way of working. And so in a remote environment, you need better picture of data, of outputs and outcomes in a way that helps you measure and communicate, connect people in terms of what's actually happening in a way that an in-person experience doesn't always have. You know, we had I think very early on in development of ChartHop, we had a map feature that we first thought of as pre-COVID, almost an esoteric feature that only a handful of organizations would really need to use. But now, when you have the work that is being done and where people are is separated from the office, actually having that map and being able to visualize where people are, being able to connect with people in your area, or being able to more appropriately geographically pay people, it becomes a really, really important thing. So I think broadly, lots of trends have led to companies wanting to be more data driven about their people strategy. I think remote and COVID created some of the sort of spark to ignite some things that were already in play. I think lots of companies were wanting to get a better understanding of their workforce, of outcomes, making sure they're compensating more fairly than they ever have. All of those things were trends that were in play, but COVID just accelerated them.
I'm wondering how, obviously using data is very technology heavy. And I'm wondering, is technology keeping up with the demands of users, or is technology really driving what's possible so it doesn't have to catch up?
I would say technology is not keeping up with the demands of users. I would say that is very clear from, just everybody I've talked to who are struggling with systems that were designed to lock down data and silo data rather than empower people with data, systems that were designed not to connect data, but were designed to keep data locked in different systems. I don't think that the current generation of technology has really given people the answers they need to be able to react responsibly to the real business problems that they face. And so I think we as an industry are actually playing catch up to the things that are happening on the ground and the things that are really happening in the workforce.
How do you resolve that? I mean, how do you bring things into balance where everybody's getting what they need?
I think it starts with who are you building for, and who are you making sure you have a really good understanding of. HR and people data is beyond just an HR problem. It's a problem for everybody. Everybody who works at a company ultimately. And I think thinking about the tooling that we build and making sure it's built for everybody in a way that empowers people and takes some of the burden out of HR having to be the one keepers of all this data, and putting data in the hands of the right people at the right time to accomplish the work that they need to get done. And so I think obviously things are changing very fast. The industry is changing very fast. Expectations and employee expectations are changing very fast. Business needs are changing very fast. And so, building software that tries to resolve this, we just try to be as flexible as possible and build the tools that we build in a way that is extensible and open and can handle, in the same way that we built that map feature before COVID, and all of a sudden it was really relevant. Just you can build features and design systems that can accommodate the future and accommodate changing circumstances. That's what I think leads to really good outcomes, good software.
Now, let's talk about ChartHop specifically for a little bit. ChartHop talks about systems that offer a unified picture of an organization and that empowers manager to make decisions, people decisions, and employees feel more connected with the company. What's that look like in practice? What does that mean people can do?
In practice, that means that if you work at a company, you work as part of an organization, you should have answers at your fingertips to data, the information that you need to do your job, which is different for different people, right? But you should not be waiting on process or getting information out of different systems to get the answers you need. I want, as a CEO, if I've got a personnel situation that I need to discuss with my head of HR, I want to be able to pull up all the information at my fingertips immediately. And if I'm a recruiter trying to understand what open roles we might be hiring for, I don't want to have to go through layers of process to find that out. I just want the answers right in front of me. That's the expectations that we have, in every other area of business in the CX area. It's what we expect out of consumer apps, but somehow for people and organizational operations, that's fallen a little bit behind. And I think when you work in an organization that communicates well, that gives the right level of transparency, that gives people the access to information that they need to do their jobs, it gives people appropriate context, that both allows the work to get done more efficiently, but also it creates a better feeling of connection and empowerment for employees on the ground who want to feel a sense of ownership towards the work, but often don't have the information they need to do that.
Do you think these data tools are being driven by what employees need or by what the employer needs, or is it an honest combination of both?
I think it's a combination of both, because ultimately employees have more demands, needs for information than in the past. Like, Gen Z in particular is questioning a lot of things and wants to understand a little bit more. And the employer-employee relationship, COVID shifted this. It's starting to shift a little bit where
the world's best-known investor and Wall Street expert Warren Buffett once said, "Wall Street is the only place that people ride to in a Rolls-Royce to get advice from those who take the subway." Mr. Buffett's quote is remarkably accurate, but how many people would rather receive advice from him than someone simply guessing? Welcome to Buy, Hold, Sell, your single source for Wall Street knowledge and profitable guidance. Please join me, Todd Schoenberger, and fellow trader Tobin Smith, as well as host Veronica Dudo, for a podcast known to move the needle for investors. Tobin and I are seasoned Wall Street executives with deep investment experience, and we are prepared to share our advice to those who choose to listen. Download Buy, Hold, Sell today on the Evergreen Podcast Network or your favorite podcast channel.
Employers that are successful understand creating a healthy balance in relationship with their employees. So the need for data is on both sides. Employers want to understand better their workforce to be able to plan better, to be able to respond better, to be able to take care and manage and support their people better. And employees want more, better information to be able to do their jobs better. And if everybody is empowered by the right set of tools, then that's going to drive that collective change together. And the best tools are built for both sides of the equation, not just one or the other.
We talked before about the impact of COVID on the use of data, and now I want to ask the same question, but looking specifically at hybrid work. Mm-hmm. It's spreading. The idea of hybrid work seems to be spreading. If it's not popular among employers, it seems to be at least accepted. So I'm wondering how that will change the role of data, or how data will be put to new uses as hybrid work becomes more common.
Well, hybrid work is just like remote work and in-office work, but it's only harder than both put together, because you actually have to make sure that you have successful processes that work for both. And so I think that all of the things we've learned these last couple of years about getting information in the right people's hands and being able to manage and understand your workforce, all of those things just go double in a hybrid environment, because you now not only have to, you have the remote environment, you have to understand the work that's getting done and be able to measure outcomes. And the in-office environment, you need to make sure that you are supporting people in the right way, and you have to have how are you going to measure how you're doing at all of those things? You need some way of measuring your success with your people that ideally is in one place, accessible to all, and aligns everybody on what are you trying to achieve.
One question I've always had is about the executives, or business owners that you might deal with, and how they approach the use of this technology and these tools. Do you think they really get it? Do you think they really understand the value that they can get out of data and the tools that support it?
I think everybody understands the value of data. I think it's all people talk about. I think the reality on the ground of what is the real value people are getting is where some of the tools are lacking. I think every executive, every manager, always your biggest challenge and your biggest problem is your people, right? Are you setting your people up for success? Are you communicating well and moving people in the right direction? Do you have the right people in the right roles? Are you hiring well? Are you retaining well? All of those things, that's what's on every executive's mind, I think. And so I haven't seen any executive I've talked to say, oh, this isn't a problem, or this isn't a focus, or having better data on my people strategy is not a problem for me. I think it's bridging the gap between knowing that's a need and getting to the reality of how are we gonna make tangible improvements with data. That's where people get lost. That's where people are looking for answers.
Ian, thanks very much for coming on again. It's nice to talk to you.
Yeah, no, it's great as always to catch up.
Ian White, the founder and CEO of ChartHop, has been my guest today on People Tech, the podcast of the HCM Technology Report. We're a publication of Recruiting Daily. We're also a part of Evergreen Podcasts. To see all of their programs, visit www.evergreenpodcasts.com. And to keep up with HR technology, visit the HCM Technology Report every day. We're the most trusted source of news in the HR tech industry. Find us at www.hcmtechnologyreport.com. I'm Mark Pfeffer.
Do you love news about LinkedIn, Indeed, Google, and just about every other recruitment tech company out there?
Hell yeah. I'm Chad.
I'm Cheese.
We're the Chad and Cheese Podcast.
All the latest recruiting news and insights are on our show.
Dripping in snark and attitude.
Subscribe today wherever you listen to your podcasts. We out.
Welcome to Don't Retire, Graduate, the podcast that asks you what you want to be when you grow up so you can graduate into retirement with a purpose and a passion, whether you're 25, 85, or any age in between. Gain actionable financial and mindset tips from your favorite authors, podcasters, and influencers to help you reach that exciting next chapter. Listen now and start building your path to financial freedom and reframing what retirement can mean to you. This is your host, Eric Brotman, reminding you, don't retire, graduate.